And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester. With me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blanken. Tyler, it is Super Bowl Sunday as we record this. How you doing, and who you got?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking, Brad Winchester. I'm going with Patrick Mahomes. Come on now. We're going for the three-peat. And it's funny, by the time we release this, the Super Bowl will be over. So
yes, I want to see how loud wrong we are.
I'm going to look so good with this prediction, or the opposite will happen. I'm going Pat Mahomes 38, the Philadelphia Eagles 31.
Wow, you even got a score. Okay, I have a lower scoring affair. I think whenever we think it's going to be a shootout, it ends up being a slugfest, and I don't know why that is, but it just seems to happen. I'm kind of with you here. I want to say my heart says Eagles. My head says Chiefs. Don't do it, but I'm taking the Eagles only because I want to see Saquon win. I'm tired of this Chiefs Bulls crap. I had to censor myself. We're only a minute in.
You caught yourself.
I did.
Self-control.
Well, yeah, very little, but I'm proud of myself anyway. I don't know. Every time I picked against the Chiefs have won. They just figure out a way to win. They just always do. It's even when I think, no, they're far and away not the most talented team in the AFC. They're not as talented as the Ravens. They're not as talented as the Bills. Both of those teams aren't in the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs are. So
correct.
Really hard to pick against them.
My prediction is based on the premise that Pat Mahomes has the ball last. It's a tied game. It's close. And he finds a way to get in the end zone.
I foresee over under 2 tush pushes in this game.
Easy for you to say. Yeah, no,
yeah.
I would have to take the over for that. And obviously, what the NFL has done well in recent years, or really since the beginning of time, is picking an artist for the halftime show who just is going to bring in viewers and bring in conversation.
Yeah.
And last year, Usher, fantastic. This year, there was no other choice than Kendrick Lamar. Lil Wayne stands, get out of here. Kendrick was the right choice. I actually think Lil Wayne will pop up. He'll be a surprise.
Drake said he has a surprise plan. So.
Yeah, we know SZA has been announced. Maybe Juvenile pops up, but Kendrick Lamar. There's just been so many conversations I've heard, Brad, or I've seen on the timeline, on campus. Folks are really excited about the halftime performance. Yeah. And when the beat for Not Like Us drops, the internet is going to break, possibly. And people are going to be dancing across living rooms across the world, truly. So I'm sure we will discuss the fallout next week.
I hope I wish you would have caught my Drake said he had a surprise planned. Now, Kendrick has a surprise plan, but if Drake comes out with Kendrick, it's gonna there's no chance of it happening.
Yeah, I thought about that possibility, but no. I suspect we're
Lil Wayne's probably the one that it makes the most sense.
Totally,
because it's the one that upset the people the most that it wasn't him. But I believe it said that he has passed on it in the past. And I remember when this all came out that it was going to be Kendrick, and people were like, what? Wait a second. That it was like, he had opportunities before, and it's just kind of whatever. I think there's a really good chance that that's going to happen.
For sure. And Wayne, I don't want to say Wayne's completely washed, but what song has he put out in the last 5 years that's been relevant? Let me know if I'm speaking out of turn, Brad, but when I think of Lil Wayne, I'm thinking of the Carter 3. I'm thinking of that mixtape era. Kendrick, to me,
I had to look up the year.
Lil
Wayne put out Green and Yellow in 2021.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a Packers theme song, and that's why you would never have heard of it.
Because he was messing with Aaron Rodgers for a little bit, right? He's a big Aaron
he's a Packers fan. Yeah, he's a Packers fan.
It's so interesting to me.
Probably Brett Favre. Yeah.
Gosh.
Makes sense.
So Wayne, this is my last thought on this topic. Because I know we're going to get into rest and we're going to get into Batch. There's even a promo of the week.
Yeah.
Word on the street at least says that. Wayne would have been a fine choice had Kendrick not won the beef with Drake. At that point, Kendrick just propelled himself to a new level of stardom.
Yes.
There was just undeniable. can folks in Louisiana really be mad with Kendrick being selected? I think this is my prediction as we record 2 hours before the Super Bowl. I think this performance is gonna go off perfectly. I don't know what exactly is in store, but it's SZA. I agree with you. I'm thinking it's Wayne, and I believe for this next week we're going to be talking about whatever we see and hear on the field during halftime. Kendrick just had an absolute renaissance year, and maybe there's even a new album in the works. Usually people do that. Artists will drop an album before the Super Bowl. We didn't get that from Kendrick, and to me, he's the type of artist where he'll just kind of chart his own path, and maybe we get a surprise album following this. Who knows what's going to happen?
That could be the surprise, yeah.
That could be the surprise, but I agree with you. I think Lil Wayne's going to pop up.
I think it's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait for this. So it's so interesting to me that this all came out of like a throwback feeling beef that we haven't seen in years, maybe longer than that, where everybody seemed invested in what was happening. And now we're here. And I just think that's super cool. I also think it's absolutely wild that this man who coming off the Grammys, who's going to do the halftime at the Super Bowl.
We didn't even talk about the Grammys. He went 5 for 5 with Not Like Us, a diss track. He used Drake's formula of using a diss track as a massive pop hit. He's just Kendrick's on another level.
And he's currently working on a musical project with Matt Stone and Trey Parker, the people who created South Park. I just feel like this is such a weird and wild time that we're in right now.
He's played his cards.
It's awesome. It's so cool to see. Cause like when To Pimp a Butterfly came out, I think that was when I went, wow, this is just so different than anything I had heard, with the like weird jazz in the background with different rhythms. And it was just so cool. And it changed my perspective on him. And I started listening to his stuff all the time. And then to see this huge shift, cause I would talk about that album and people, you know what, people in my circle would be like, who's that? But even Jess is like, I have no idea who this guy is, has no idea about the feud or anything. Like, I don't know how it's possible, but I also work at a high school. It's hard to avoid.
This is true. And during that era, To Pimp a Butterfly, arguably the greatest hip hop album of the decade. I don't know that just off the strength of Good Kid, Mad City and To Pimp a Butterfly, he was going to get that Super Bowl recognition. It was really when Not Like Us came out.
Yeah.
I mean, after
even
that,
Dan, right? Like it's
sure. I just don't think Kendrick, and granted, a Super Bowl was already in LA and you know, it was like a compilation. This is the first time a hip hop artist has been the featured act. And again, he's respect to SZA. SZA is joining him. They're going on tour together. This is the first time a hip hop act is ostensibly the solo headlining performer. I don't think the ads are saying Kendrick with SZA, which could be another conversation. They're just showing Kendrick Lamar halftime. Not Like Us, the Grammys, the Super Bowl recognition. Brad, we're in team meetings.
The Amazon special,
the pop out concert.
Yeah.
The pop out executed masterfully. Brad, we have staff meetings, we have team meetings at school, and people reference Not Like Us now. They just use it in conversation. I mean, it's just when it's evoked in staff meetings, when Kamala Harris, the vice president, is playing it at a rally, it's played at the DNC, like we're just talking about just a whole nother level of stardom and reach.
Yeah.
And yeah, Kendrick, I mean, I know we had our year-end special with Rob Wilkins, and Rob nominated Kendrick as a winner. Who knows what's in store for 2025? He may have an even more successful run if he plays his cards right.
I did not tell you this, but a kid got really mad at his Chromebook a few weeks ago. And I hit him with I'm gonna do my stuff because I heard this. He started hitting it and I heard, and I just hit him with, I'm gonna do my stuff. And everybody started laughing. He was really confused because he had never heard the song. But I was like,
that's unfortunate.
But I was like, great cadence on that, smacking it. Did it help your Chromebook at all? Did it do anything?
Yeah.
I kind of felt
clearly he's going to be tuning into the Super Bowl. This is
I hope so.
This is just the prelude for the big performance.
I hope so. Because he was really laying into that thing. I feel like he had to get something off his chest. And
poor Chromebook, poor Drake. Well, maybe not poor Drake, but poor Chromebook in this monologue.
I hope he named that Chromebook Drake. But he had to get something off his chest, Tyler, and so do I. It's time for promo of the week. I need you to cue up the music.
And now, the promo of the week.
Oh, I haven't done one of these in a while. I'm a little rusty. I got to shake it off. Some things I can't shake off, Tyler. Low expectations. I'm tired of people having low expectations around me. All over the place. You know, like I hear it, I see it on TV sometimes. I see it in TV shows. There's some of my colleagues, people around me, and it's just, I'm going to set the bar really low. You set the bar low, you're going to get low yielding results. You got to have the mindset that, like, yeah, I can do this. It's going to be really challenging, or it's going to be, you know, it's something that can enrich us. It's the little things. So yesterday I worked at the school, and I did lights for the String Fling, which is a combined sort of this side of the district concert with the elementary school orchestras and the middle school orchestras and the high school orchestras. There were 300 people playing all at once, and all the parents and stuff were in there in our mostly newly renovated auditorium. It was awesome. It was wonderful. I was upstairs being super psychotic about the lights. I did not need to be this all in on the lighting systems, but I feel like if I have low expectations of myself, what's going to happen is everybody else is going to look bad. So I just set them for myself and go, you know what? No, I'm going to be on the fader, ready to go with house lights when I need to bring them up. And Rachel went, so if we could bring up the house lights came up on cue because I was ready to go. Why? Because I feel like I have expectations for these things. When I hear out in the library, people doing things, running an event, doing course registration, and just saying like, oh, you just need to get it done to graduate, or we're just here and we just got to get the kids in and out, or we're going to go do this thing, but we're just going to do it to do it. It's like, it's sort of like listening to Allen Iverson say practice. But unless you were at the top of your game, and most of these people are not, I sure am not, we got to worry about the practice a little bit. We got to make sure that we're putting all of our efforts in and going, you know what? We can't take life too seriously, but we got to set our expectations right. So, I'm tired of low expectations from everybody. I'm tired of seeing it on TV. I'm tired of hearing it in my life. I'm tired of hearing it at stores and stuff. Because sometimes good customer service is the point. It's not just do it because you're going to get paid or a tip. Sometimes it's just you do it because that's the expectation. Treat people well, be kind, do all of those things. Why? Because it's the expectation we set. If we lower it for ourselves or for others, we're going to get what we ask for.
Yeah, I'm ready. Where's the wall?
I just heated my coffee up with my hand.
Where's the wall that I need to run through? If we're going to show up to school...
They just repaired mine. Please don't do that.
Too soon?
Yeah, too soon.
If we're going to show up to our workplace or school or wherever, and granted, there are ups and downs, right? So we're people, we need to navigate,
yes, of course,
our internal compass. But when we show up, why not strive for excellence? And you, myself, we're in a profession where eyes are on us and we want to set the bar high, because that's just what you do in life, is you're here to be great. Period. We don't need to lower the bar. Yes. Lowering the bar that's not what we do.
What's that do? It doesn't serve anybody.
No. We're here to reach our fullest potential.
And sometimes
people got to hold us accountable. We got to hold others.
We got to ask for help sometimes. And that's fine. That's the expectation thing. And it's just, if the last week has shown me anything, is that sometimes when I ask for stuff and I don't get it, or I have to jump through many, many hurdles, I really hate purchase orders. My expectations are not being met. And I find that frustrating because my expectations are here. They're not here. And I don't like being treated like they should be here. No. Meet me here. Let's lift each other, not expect the lowest possible thing. Just because things are difficult, I can't go like, well, it's difficult, so let's lower it. No, let's find a way. Let's figure this out together and let's move forward.
Yeah. And if you mess up, the growth that you've shown through attempting, that's progress. That's going to help you. That's going to help you the next time that you're reaching. It's all additive.
100%. Couldn't agree more. Tyler, WWE that happened this week. There was a lot of stuff that happened this week. There was some stuff. There were tears. there were tears. The opening of Raw was about an hour long and worth every second. The end of Raw was shocking for a variety of reasons. I will have questions. SmackDown was also on top of its game. Like WWE's doing great. NXT, I only caught clips. I saw, I believe it was from this week, Stephanie Vaquer doing a 619. Was that this week or was it a house show?
That was this week.
I saw it on Instagram and I was like, oh, that looks awesome.
Week, yeah.
That looked like one of the one of the snuggest 619s I've seen in a while. It kind of looked. She went, I'm just gonna kick them in the face. Like that's
precisely. Steph is doing her thing. Steph Watch is in full effect here on GI. Yeah, she's challenging Fallon Henley for the Women's North American Championship this weekend at Vengeance Day. I think she's leaving DC with that title.
Yeah, more than likely. So I'm ready to get into it. Hit me with the question.
Yeah, as am I. Okay, I got a long preamble for you, but rest assured it will be worth the wait. WWE, everything you said and more. Jey Uso and Charlotte Flair celebrated their Royal Rumble victories across programming. Julia and Obafemi are defending their respective titles this weekend at the aforementioned Vengeance Day. And sadly, several WWE talents were released from the company. Mm-hmm. Of course, we send love to Sonya Deville, Cedric Alexander, Isla Dawn, AOP, Paul Ellering, Blair Davenport, Giovanni Vinci, and the Good Brothers.
And Elektra, as of this morning on the alumni page. Yep.
Elektra Lopez?
Yep.
Get out of here. Wow.
Yeah, she was in Legado del Fantasma, right? I can never say that right.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, I guess I saw she was moved to the alumni page this morning.
No kidding.
I don't know if it was announced as a release, but she's there. I can't remember if it was Wrestling Observer or somebody else, but yeah.
Shoot. I appreciate
I'll verify while you ask the question.
Yeah, I appreciate you letting me know. Okay, so we're going to get to my question right now. I want to focus on another strong week for the Samoan Werewolf. He's been a staple of SmackDown since signing with the company. And last weekend, following Solo Sikoa's... I'm sorry, she signed with the company last year. And now following Solo Sikoa's multiple week absence, in my view, Brad, easy for me to say,
we're on it today. Yeah,
we're totally on it. Yeah, Elektra
Embrace
Lopez.
the mess.
How?
Yeah,
She's
also confirmed. She's gone.
Okay. Well, my question: the Samoan Werewolf, Solo Sikoa was back, but in my view, Jacob Fatu has become the leader of the Bloodline, if it even still exists.
Right.
He's getting mic time and showing out in the ring. Here is my question: what's the best use of Jacob Fatu from here? And specifically thinking about WrestleMania and the road to, is his ultimate destiny a singles match at the 2-night extravaganza in Vegas? If so, who is your ideal opponent? Solo, Braun, other? What's the best use of Fatu for the rest of the year, including that pit stop Mania weekend?
Well, Solo returning didn't quite feel the same. Like he came back, huge spike. Maybe that's the path. Maybe he's next up. But I just feel like you're right. Solo's just been kind of lapped. And
the character's a loser. I told you this has been my concern. Yeah. Is we're not going to take him seriously because he loses all the big matches.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. That's why I had no questions about whether or not he's going to win a title or beat Roman.
Sorry for that outburst. I just...
No, it's true.
I've been holding that in. Jacob Fatu is the guy now. It's not so.
Jacob Fatu doesn't. If he does lose, the other person's going to be in the hospital. Even with a win, they're still going to be close to death. And I think that's the difference right now is that he's just on the mic in the ring. He has been, but I know it was like legal troubles and some other stuff was what prevented him from probably being called up sooner. But he just has everything. He's everything. I think if it's not Solo or Roman for control of the bloodline, then it has to be for a title. Has to be. I don't know which. At this point, I don't even want him getting a mid-card title. I'd rather him go after the big ones. I feel like he's earned it. And he's awesome. Who doesn't want to see that?
He has that aura. It's incredible. Talk about some of the best free agent signings of the last few years. To me, Jacob Fatu, specifically thinking of the context of WWE free agency, he's been as good of a signing as anyone.
Yeah, maybe Gunther, but I feel like Jay.
I think Fatu's right there. Yeah,
I just don't want Like maybe Jay wins and then Fatu goes after him. Maybe Fatu
Sure.
is
Yeah.
Fatu's the Money in the Bank winner.
Oh, wow.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. That would be
That
something.
would be a great one to have.
He has that special quality of, there are wrestlers in the industry where you see them and you have to say, wow, when you
Mhm.
watch them, or they do something that just leaves you awestruck.
Yep.
That's hard nowadays when there's so much wrestling to consume. There's so many excellent performers out there. But Fatu, when he does that little,
Oh yeah.
like, he just, the whole aura around him is insane to
Well,
me
then
right now.
he gets on the turnbuckle, a top turnbuckle, and you kind of expect, he's going to do a splash. No, that dude's doing whatever he wants up there. He gives me, I know, relative, obviously, but he gives me sort of Umaga levels of athleticism when he's in there for a person of that size who can move like that, but has that aura. Because it's not, I don't even know if I want to call it charisma. He has it, but it's something bigger than that. It's not just, wow, I want to listen to him. It's like, no, he just walks into the room and the room shifts. So I would love to see that. Actually, now I'm convincing myself I want him to win the Money in the Bank. And here's why. The last couple of Money in the Bank winners have been either goofs or have been thwarted on every attempt. Like, forget Damian Priest for a second. Like Drew, and then before that, it was what Austin Theory before that.
Wow. Yeah,
Being a
right.
goof, just constantly getting stopped beforehand and trying and all that stuff.
Years ago, there was Baron Corbin. He may have been Constable Corbin at that point, but he wasn't presented as an ass kicker who could feasibly become champion. It was basically, this guy is intimidating, but he's gonna fumble this away. Otis,
I think
the artist formerly known as Otis,
then taken by the Miz, who used it and won. Who did the Miz beat? Was it Bobby Lashley?
Did he beat Lashley?
I think so. That's insane. That's
pretty nuts. Looking back on it now, especially Bobby Lashley, as we see it, Hurt Syndicate.
Oh my god,
who should not lose? Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin should not lose a match until All Out in August at the absolute earliest.
No disrespect to the Miz, it's just wild. Because that was that Lashley. Nobody should have beaten that. Like, he should still be champ. That should have been an insurmountable mountain to climb. Anyway, whatever. I think it would be good to have like somebody that has the Money in the Bank briefcase that could just come out whenever, not have to wait to the end of a match, just kind of show up in the middle of somebody's promo and be like, it's happening now. This is when I kill you. Ring the bell and then just murder them, take their belt. I think that would be awesome. I would love that. How awesome would that be?
It would be fantastic. So if that's the move, because the reason I bring up Braun Breaker is they made it a point in the Rumble to have that stare down again. But Fatu is on, and I know there's this transfer portal. Fatu is on SmackDown. Braun is
register
on.
With me. When you said Braun, I thought Strowman.
Oh no.
And I was like, I guess.
I
was like, all right, whatever.
We moved on. I'm fine. I'm fine with moving on for Braun Strowman. That's a great point. There are two Brauns. I'm talking about Bron. I'm talking about Braun Breaker.
The other kind of Braun.
That's, to me, that's a Mania match. But I know Money in the Bank is not too long after Mania, so there have to be two outcomes in the next few months for Jacob Fatu. Your route of Money in the Bank briefcase holder, or unstoppable IC champion who dethroned the machine that is Braun Breaker, not Braun Strowman.
I would be fine with either one of those things. Like,
it's probably going to be Solo, right? The match is going to be, he's going to beat Solo up.
Probably. But is it for the bloodline? Is it for just beating him? Is it like, I don't know where the bloodline goes now. Cause like Roman is the bloodline, but until they actually address what's happening here, cause everybody's just sort of doing their own thing still. Jimmy bloodline, I guess. Like, I don't know.
What did Drew say to him on SmackDown?
Oh,
you could have been Jay if you would have said
that's right.
sooner.
That's right.
Dang. That's a tough one.
Yeah. It was awesome though. The LA Knight beef with Drew, having that at least get addressed. And then what LA Knight said about mental health, I thought was awesome. Going full Randy Savage on was it Carson? I think he did that. No, it was Arsenio. He was on Arsenio Hall. Wow. Different time, different era. Sorry, I just realized how old I am. Tyler, Sami Sami Zayn lost to CM Punk. Super fun match that probably could have been a pay-per-view match. And then KO committed murder against Sami Zayn. You and I once said, I believe on this show, when KO and Sami reunited, I'm glad that this feud is finally done forever because they've run it back so many times. Well, we're back. Tyler, I kind of want Sami to come out and agree with KO and just be like, I'm sorry. Can we just make it up? And then be like, yes, apology accepted, and move the hell on, because this is okay. I'm sure that won't happen. So Tyler, how does this play out? And is the juice worth the squeeze on this feud?
I'm having a moment right now. This reaffirms to me why I love you. I thought I was the only person. This was potentially going to be means for a hot take tie segment on this episode. I have no interest in Sami versus KO grudge match 7 at WrestleMania.
Yes, I know. That's it. It's like,
I'm a big fan of both guys.
Yes.
Speaking of contracts,
great chemistry.
Very happy KO re-upped for 5 years.
100%.
That dude has certainly earned it. Who doesn't love Sami Zayn?
Love to see him with the title again.
For sure. I have no interest in seeing these guys fight. Again, to me, this is akin to Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano fighting again.
Yeah.
I've seen it. It's been awesome. Let's move on. The way you phrased it was great. What if Ciampa just comes out and says, I agree with you? Like it happens in real life sometimes. I agree. I've seen the light. Let's move forward. We know that's not going to happen. This will be, I'm sure, a signature match for Mania weekend. I love both characters. I think they have so much to give. I just don't want to see them fighting with each other, nor do I really have an interest in them tag teaming again, at least in the immediate future. That was great.
Yeah.
It made event to Mania.
That moment was amazing.
It was amazing. It's just not doing it for me. And I'm sure the match will be well worked. Certainly the package pile driver looked exceptionally violent at the end of Raw, as you pointed out. But it's a shrug for me. Just not doing it.
Maybe this is a way to get Sami a vacation, and then he comes back as a heel in 2-3 months, and maybe he's Team Owens at that point. I don't know. KO's got a point. KO's still not wrong, but also I don't want to see this, because if this is going to be like good guy Sami against bad guy KO, it's always good guy Sami against bad guy KO.
True.
Except when bad guy Sami was in the bloodline. And even then it was like, I'm not sure if I should, I'm not sure if I shouldn't.
Yeah. War Games.
And then the chair going to Roman, like all of those things all of it. Right. I get like you, I love both of them. I just don't want to see it again. It's been going on for 20 years. Unless this is going to be like one last match, and I can already hear Limp Bizkit playing in there.
Some Fred Durst.
Oh, I just feel like that's going to end up happening. Because this time I'm gonna let it all play out. This time I'm just gonna stop.
We're bringing back some eras.
Yeah,
Limp
I know.
Bizkit, Arsenio Hall.
The problem is that the first time they probably had this feud was that era. Like they've been doing this forever. They probably did it. They did it in those Adidas. I'm convinced.
They're great. They're great. I wonder, truly, I mean this sincerely, if we are an anomaly for this scenario, because I would imagine there are many people in the fan base who are excited. I could be tripping. Let us know if you're watching us on YouTube. Let us know in the comments. What are your thoughts on Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, part 12? Yes, I added 5 since I first said part 7. Part 12. If you're listening to us, let us know what you think. Find us on social media at GIPod19. Are we tripping? Do we need to let it play out, as Brad said? What's your temperature check on this? Because Brad, we did not discuss this beforehand.
No.
I am so in line with you. I just have no interest in seeing it ran back. I don't.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, because I love both of those guys. I just think they could be doing more interesting things. Like have them find a new dance partner. Tyler, I know you watch a show where people are trying to find the right dance partner. It's time for a batch update. Hit the music for a rose from Tyler.
And now, for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
Okay, something I am excited for is to give you this batch recap. All right, Brad, last week I told you there are many reasons to be hopeful. Grant Ellis, this season's lead, seems like a cool dude. Second, Black Bachelor in franchise history. His big sister has involvement, or at least did on the season premiere. Usually a good sign if the big sis, was looking out. And they seem to have a really affectionate relationship. And there appears to be a larger budget this season than for Jen Tran's Bachelorette, which is ridiculous and not okay. But at least we're getting some money pumped in, seemingly, to Grant Ellis's adventure, if you will. Okay, I have 3 parts of the episode I want to update you on. There were 2 signature group dates. This is familiar to Batch Nation, of course. There was a basketball game. I sent you some information about this. And I thought we were going to get a bigger budget this season. All signs seem to point to that. But this game was at the local YMCA, or the local Boys and Girls Club.
With a crappy folding table with a tablecloth over it.
It was very strange. So the setting already kind of threw me off. And then added to that,
they weren't at the forum.
Yeah, right. The ladies were atrocious. I want to say the final score of their game, it was like 11-2.
Oh, gross.
Played over seemingly multiple quarters. And it made me, and this is more of a me thing. It made me, I've never told you this. It made me think back to years ago. I went on a basketball date. I was already seeing this person. We were already in a established relationship.
Okay.
And then it was a basketball date where, and both of us are educators. And so I hope she's not listening to this. And so we went on this basketball date where it was like, my recollection is it was her and I, and then a former student who's now a dear friend of hers. And then I think like that student's boyfriend, and maybe some other kids in the south side of Tucson. It's a total blur, but I remember us being at an outdoor park and we were playing like a 2-on-2 and a 3-on-3, and her and I were on the same team, my partner, my girlfriend. And I remember, God is still working on me. I promise I've grown a lot since this moment. I remember getting so frustrated because like nobody was good on the team, including her, including my significant other. She has many talents, amazing talents, brilliant. But basketball, she was not blessed with those gifts. So I was going full Caitlin Clark at Iowa, Allen Iverson, 01 Sixers. I'm like, crossovers, pass, and then they miss the pass and it goes out of bounds and it's the other team's ball. I remember getting so frustrated, Brad, that the team just wasn't good. I felt like I was carrying them on my back. And then the relationship fizzled out a few weeks after that. Like that was like an inflection point of it just was not good after that. So again, this is years ago. I have grown in many ways. I'm still working on myself. So anyway, the basketball game and how inept the contestants were just brought back flashes to that. And I was like, oh no, how do you not know how to dribble? Like in PE, remember when we had the pennies in PE?
So it's fun. Of course.
And we're in a time where the W is up, the women's college game is up. Like it was frustrating. Yeah, I thought they were so bad. I thought it was a bit, but alas, here we are. Second part, the women had to perform a song for Grant. I have no personal connection to this. This is just a quick update. Mario of Let Me Love You and Just a Friend famous R&B singer. He was the celebrity guest / judge. That was pretty cool. I remember having Mario songs on my iPod Nano, another era. And then finally, Brad, I did not prep you for this. Organic Jones. Shocking eliminations on this episode. By the end, when we got to the rose ceremony, Grant eliminated some heavy hitters. Ella is gone. Rebecca is gone. 2 women I chose to be in my final 4 to make it to hometowns, gone.
I gotta look.
I'm gonna surprise you with this one. You are a big fan of Vicky. This is true. I think she's from Vegas. She's the nightclub server. She got eliminated.
No,
Grant told her to kick
who's my pick?
I know. I feel for you. Vicky's gone.
Ella's gone. All right.
Ella from California. Rebecca, who really shined in this episode. She got the boot, or not got the boot, but I'm being dramatic. She did not receive a rose. And we got really no explanation from Grant on her, which I was surprised at because she had a really strong a strong edit for this episode, if you will. All of them are gone. So that's right, Brad Winchester. 3 out of my 4 contestants no longer on, and we're only 2 episodes into the season. So clearly I know nothing about Batch, even though I obsess over the show. The only pick left is Zoe, and she's being positioned as arguably the show's biggest heel, definitely getting a villain edit. Man. And those contestants never make it to the proposal. No. It's hard out here, Brad. We will see what episode 3 delivers. Hopefully some renewed hope. Hopefully no memories of past failed relationships that were kind of my fault. We'll see what happens. There are no guarantees. I want to remain optimistic. But unfortunately, Vicky's gone, as are Ella and Rebecca.
A couple of follow-ups. Number one, your girlfriend, did it end because she never got back to you after you reached out the first time and you said it was her turn to reach out? I also feel like if you were on the court,
that was a rhetorical question. You weren't even looking for an answer.
No,
okay,
absolutely not.
Please continue cooking. Okay,
I also think that I think it's funny that you were out there thinking you were the answer, and
I was just missing the headband,
and you had nothing but questions about all these people.
Dang, that's funny. That's a bar. I'm glad my misery can lead to good pod content 8 years later. This is
never
this is very healthy.
competitive, like especially athletic, like board games. I can manage myself a little better, but like when it's a competitive thing, it's not a good date situation because it's either they make you look foolish, or they make you look foolish because they suck, and there's gonna be no positive, happy anything in there because I don't like playing if I'm not playing to win. If it's just shooting around, even like you've done this probably a million times, you know what it's like. You go and you're like, hey, you just want to go shoot around? And it's like, yeah, we'll go shoot around. You go shoot around, and then like 10 minutes later, it's either 1-on-1 or horse.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's like a universal law.
Right.
If you have a basketball and there's at least 2, it's either free throw contest turns into horse, turns into, do you want to play a game? Turns into, okay, we're exhausted. Everything's fine. Or one of you is pissed at yourself, at the other.
And the BET Awards were that night. I'll never forget this. And I was pissed the whole night trying to watch the BET Awards. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, nothing's wrong with me. I'm fine. I just want to see Frankie Beverly perform. Don't worry about me. Yeah, man. I've had to do a lot of work on myself. Clearly, as evidenced by 2 years ago, the pizza story and outreach. I'm still a work in progress. I'm still a work in progress. But you're absolutely right. I need to work on that competitive. And she was not a hooper. Like, I should have known. Like, she's strong in areas that I'm not, and I'm happen to be stronger in basketball. Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, in that moment, it just was not a fun time. Nor was watching this basketball date where there were just turnovers and low scoring. And hopefully
11-2 is rough.
Hopefully Kansas City and Philadelphia score more than the ladies of season 29 of The Bachelor did.
By the time this comes out, we're gonna know for sure. If you're watching or listening here at this point, please let us know. Is a basketball game a good date night? And I don't mean playing basketball. Is that a good date night?
Let us know.
Been there, because every time I play basketball with a girl, it's been a fight. It's never been a date. It's always been me and like Gloria Rhino beating my ass at the YMCA because I was just scared. Like girls just play so much more physically than the guys. Like, guys will like elbow or push off with arms and stuff. Girls will just throw their whole ass body into you and just toss you around. And it's different because I don't feel comfortable enough to do that back, like, at all. At all. So I'm just out there slapping at the ball and trying not to get hurt. It's just different.
That's the goal. We can be competitive, but
now, not anymore. Now it's just like I can't move like that anymore. If I do something breaking, like it creaks when I get up. I'll get on the floor, tie my shoes, stand up, and I hear something pop. Yesterday was my hip. I'm 42. My hips should not be popping yet.
Caption possibility. This is 42.
This is 42. Yes. Not as good as my title for my autobiography, but it's pretty good. That'll be a chapter.
Future New York Times bestseller. Clip this right now. This is
I wonder if they have a worse seller. I want to get on that list first. You got to lose before you can win the championship. Tyler, let's get into AEW talk. Hit me with your question.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot, I feel like I always lead with this. A lot went down in AEW. We're going to talk about what happened this past week, but my question will be focused on what we have to look forward to this weekend. Here we go. I love Ricochet as a heel. He left Dynamite with a win and Swerve's robe. I love the interaction with Bun B on Collision with the burgers. You know Ricochet is my dude, Brad. Any longtime listener, this is not a surprise. Really love that he's leaning into this character, and I think the best is yet to come. Megan Bain, speaking of heels, took out Thunder Rosa. MJF said mean things about Dustin Rhodes. And Hangman Page is likely still chasing Max Caster. Now, AEW's biggest event of the year thus far is this weekend, Grand Slam from Australia. As of this recording, 5 matches are scheduled for the show. I want to ask you about the 3 title matches. Mercedes Moné defends her TBS championship against Harley Cameron. Kazuchika Okada defends his Continental Championship against Buddy Matthews. And of course, presumptive main event of the show, Mariah May puts her women's championship on the line against timeless Toni Storm. I haven't asked you this type of question in a while. Over under, 2 new champions will be crowned this weekend.
Well, you can't do an even number. So it's either 1.5 or 2.5, Tyler.
Oh, gosh, I thought about asking you 1.5.
Okay, I'm going to go over 1.5. Over 2? I don't think so. I think that Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega get the win, but that's not for a chip. I don't think Harley Cameron has a shot in hell. I think the only way that Harley wins is if there's tomfoolery. There might be. I would love to see Harley with a belt. I think it'd be great. That would be the best one to have as a swerve, because the other 2 are viable options, right? Like Harley got her first win like a day ago, and now she's going up against one of the most dominant women's champions we've ever had in AEW. I don't know. I don't know. It kind of, I don't know, but it feels like what a way to make a star who is already super popular with the fans. And that could get Mercedes Moné into the women's title picture. And I would love to see her tear it up with Toni Storm and then Mariah May. And I think that could be really fun and get her out of sort of that same spot that she's been in. Because she's not seeing like there's people at the top and there's people fighting for the TBS championship. And it just seems like they're all locked into the same rows and they're not all crossing into each other. I'd like to see more of that. I think Toni Storm wins. And I think right now, I think Okada retains, but I want Buddy to win. So I'm going to pick Buddy to win. So I'm going to say there's going to be 2, but not 3. I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's 3, but I don't think there's going to be 3. And on these Grand Slam things, I don't know what the it's kind of like what is it? Battle of the Belts.
Battle of the Belts.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? Like, we have a battle of the belts. Hardly any of the belts are battling, and the ones that aren't. Like, we had eliminators on the Battle of the Belts last time, and ROH titles. Who cares? Get that off my screen. Grand Slam. I don't remember the last time a big turnover happened there. We've had big moments in Grand Slams, but I can't remember a title change.
I would say really that first Grand Slam or second.
Was that Long Island?
Yeah. When I think of Grand Slam, the best of Grand Slam, it's not a title changing hands. It's not
big matches.
It's the face off between Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega. And if memory serves, that was the first Grand Slam. Nothing
MJF being cheered.
Right. Nothing has even come close to that moment.
No.
I think by the end of the show this weekend, we'll at least have some new classic moments from Grand Slam, because the past few years they've been a bit of an afterthought. I think this show could really turn the page on that.
It's a pay-per-view. Like, looking
these
at
are
this
5
card,
incredible matches.
I legitimately got scared because you started talking about this. Like, crap, do I have to buy something?
That was behind the paywall.
And then I realized, oh no, this is just going to be awesome.
After NBA All-Star, yeah.
I don't have to pay extra for it. I'm already paying for it. So amazing. So I can't wait for it. Yeah, this is going to be great. That tag team is the stuff of dreams for me. I think the one that'll steal the show, honestly, I think people are going to be surprised by Buddy and Okada. I don't think they should be, but I think that's going to be the one, because that's the one that probably right now, outside of Mercedes and Harley, probably have like the lowest expectations going into it, which is why I think Harley and Mercedes are going to shock everybody with how awesome it's going to be. And I also think that Okada and Matthews are going to put on a classic. I think they're going to hit each other harder than most people have ever seen people hit each other in a ring. I really believe that they're going to work like a New Japan match in there and just beat the crap out of each other, especially in Buddy's hometown or in his home country, I should say. I expect awesome things from everybody. God, I really hope Harley has a great night and gets the shine she deserves, because she's having a hell of a year. And it's so cool to see her in this spot. She's wrestling one of the best wrestlers in the world. Now I'm just so happy for her. That's so cool. God, I still think 2 max. So I'll go over 1.5. It's tough.
I agree with you on the 2. I have a bit of a different POV on it though. So I agree with you. Something tells me Mariah may win via.
It'd be a great heel
and then they
thing
run
to
this
have
back.
happen. Yeah.
It seems a little too obvious that Timeless Tony's going to win, but I will agree with you and pick Tony Storm to get the victory. I think Buddy Matthews beats Kazuchika Okada. To me, you put Buddy Matthews in this spot, and if you recall on Wednesday on Dynamite, Fletcher and Takeshita defeated Matthews and Brody King, but Brody King took the pinfall so that, of course, Buddy could be kept strong for this match. Buddy has to win here. He has to.
Yeah.
If you're going to put him in this spot, and again, we're rebuilding Julia Hart, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, sans Malachi Black. What a great way to get this off to the races with Buddy winning the big one. Contrasted with, for me, Harley Cameron versus Mercedes Moné. Harley's getting the rub just by being in this position. Whereas Buddy, I don't think it's enough for him to just have a marquee slot. I think he has to get the victory. For me, Harley Cameron.
Carly Cameron.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Harley Cameron being on the poster, getting hopefully a lot of time with Mercedes, that's already building her, giving her the rub, getting, like you said, getting that shine that she's earned, that she's worked for. I think that's enough. And I just think about, okay, well, if Chris Statlander couldn't beat Mercedes twice, and then Harley Cameron does, you also know that I'm the fan who has Jamie Hayter slotted to dethrone Mercedes Moné later this year. So I don't think Harley's going to make it happen, but I agree with you. Big moment for her. I think her just being in this position gives a lot of shine. Again, juxtaposed with Buddy. Him just being there isn't enough. He has to beat Okada on Saturday.
I'm listening. I'm looking at the roster right now. I also want to see. I would love to see Penelope Ford in that spot. I'm looking at all the roster right now, going like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know these people were still on the roster, because I was thinking about Camille maybe coming out and interfering in Mercedes' match, but it sounds like, she got attacked backstage and never paid it off. I doubt we'll ever see her again in AEW.
It's kind of giving Megan Bain has come in and taken that spot of this silent, incredibly powerful heel. Not saying you can't have both of them, of course, but I think, okay, well, Camille's not present. Megan Bain is here and seems to will be a force in the division in 2025.
But I'm looking at ready. Here's some people that we haven't seen in a while besides Britt, which I don't know what's going on there. That seems like bad vibes. Abaddon. The one that I've been wanting to see forever in a better spot, Diamante. Sheeta. Seems like a painful oversight. Kira Hogan. Let's see, Madison. I didn't think Madison Rain was still signed. I thought she was signed somewhere else. That's wild to me. I forgot Mercedes Martinez is still on the roster. I didn't have a clue. Rebel is still on the roster.
Get out of here.
When's the last time we saw Rebel in anything? It's years, I feel.
Daly's place, circa 2021.
When Britt got hurt, right?
2020.
I can't, like, when she got hurt and went away for a long time, I feel like that was the last time we saw her. We've seen Red Velvet. That's cool. Ruby Soho's on maternity leave. Even Serena Deeb kind of disappeared again. I don't know if she's injured or what, but she was there, came back, got a little bit of a push. Sky Blue's still out.
Deonna Purrazzo and Ty Valkyrie are doing great work with the Vendetta.
Yes. But they're not even on here.
Yeah. Deonna should be a contender for a championship. I know I have my Jamie Hayter plan, but
look,
I want Deonna Purrazzo to hold gold this year. She's awesome.
I'm going back through it because I think I missed like a whole column here. Okay, there we go. Tiana, let's see. Nyla Rose is still there. Riho,
Of course.
I know Riho, and then Ty Mello.
Queen Aminata, we saw again another marquee spot on Dynamite, and she killed it.
Yes,
against Timeless Tony, aka Mariah May, playing
yeah,
Mariah May.
And that was great.
That was great. I really
I thought it was awesome.
That feud's been is going to go down as one of the best, I think, in company history.
100%. Yuka was on there not a couple weeks ago, last week. And
yeah, the main event with Mercedes.
Yeah, but I didn't know she was even signed. Like, I didn't know she was on the AEW roster. She's on the roster.
Wow.
But that's how infrequently they're using a lot of the talent, is just sort of like, let's dust them off when we need them and then put him back on the shelf. And it's just weird. So my question for you, along those lines, Bischoff, Eric Bischoff this week said, AEW is circling the toilet. That's a quote. And it's where, quote, careers go to die. So collision numbers have been abysmal, at least on broadcast. They've been like 200, 250 around there. Dynamite hasn't really moved much since the max numbers. It's went down, but not like significantly, still around 500,000. With WWE releases and struggling viewership and live attendance, I still think AEW is in a good place in terms of an interesting product. And obviously they have their rights deal. Tyler, besides the rights deal, can you make a case against the negativity around the company? It's a hard question.
It's hard. Yeah. Depending on the week, it's that up and down of being an AEW fan. Okay. I'm going to give both sides. Maybe it's the English teacher in me. Okay. So the side that can be pro, as you said, Bischoff Eric, the pro Eric B from Wyoming. I've heard it referred to as MJF on camera, referred to AEW as all elderly wrestling.
Yeah.
To me, that's as valid of a criticism as you can deliver. Is AEW, when it was founded and part of why it had so much momentum, along with WWE being run by a diabolical, tyrant, is that it was propelling younger stars or just newer stars, if you will. Now, when we have, and this is kind of fizzled out, I think maybe in part because of fan reaction, maybe Jeff Jarrett as a babyface saying that he's going for the world championship. Adam Copeland, the artist now known as Cope, likely being the contender for Jon Moxley in the presumptive main event for Revolution. And there's other up and down the card again. Dustin Rhodes, legend.
Yeah.
Fighting MJF.
Yeah.
To me, that's been as big of an indictment as anything so far in 2025 is, wait, we're promoting a lot of people, many of whom aren't known as being AEW talent. They came from other places. They've had storied careers elsewhere, but they're being given screen time and prime spots. So much so to be in the main event. I don't need Cope in the main event against Moggs. Respectfully, love Cope. I hope we see him at the show in Phoenix. I just didn't expect that he would be propelled to that spot so soon. Of course, I shared on air I wanted Hobbs to get that spot and for them to put the title on him. That was probably a bit of a reach on my part. But on one hand, I think that could be a valid criticism. I don't know where Bischoff stands on that. But on the other hand, Brad, I want to go back to what you just read. The sheer amount of talent on the roster is undeniable. And we've seen a lot of success stories. Again, Ricochet versus Swerve. To me, it's a big W right now. Mariah May versus Tony Storm. That's been exceptional storytelling. And Mariah May is a case of Tony Khan signed a free agent and had a plan for them. Everything has been intentional with the use of Mariah May. So if we just look at the talent, I have to believe there's smart people backstage. There's talented people everywhere on this roster. Arguably the most talented roster in wrestling, dare I say. I just think the talent has to win out. And if we can mix in those consistent stories while elevating talent, and just a big critique for me has been we're investing a lot of time in the Death Riders. And I just don't have a lot of investment in that story. I don't think it makes a lot of sense in terms of what's being delivered, how it to me, it's not working. Then there's also the learning tree and some other elements where, okay, this is a signature part of AEW programming every week, but it's just not working for me either because I'm just not interested or I don't think it's very coherent. So I hear Bischoff's point. You and I know many people we love in our lives who also share some of these same sentiments, but there's a lot that I enjoy about AEW every week. And again, if we just look at the talent, my goodness, there's talent everywhere. And if we can just get that coherent storytelling, which AEW has shown they can do, if we just get it more consistently, I think we're in a really good spot. So Revolution, that main event, I don't know. I hope they pivot, but you know how I feel about AEW. I'm a day one, and
Yeah.
you know they're responsible for my favorite live experience ever, seeing Sting and Darby last year. So I have
Yeah.
I have a bit of bias there, but I believe they've shown they can do things well, particularly stories. We know the matches are always going to be good, but I totally hear the concern and the criticism, and I usually watch Collision after the fact. But for Dynamite, especially now that we got it at 6 o'clock on the West Coast, not 9 o'clock
Yes,
on
sir.
a school night,
Mhm.
I'm tuned in for Dynamite every single week.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy because it's early and I'm in bed and I've already watched it. It's all caught up.
Where,
Kinda
where do you
suck.
stand though regarding the Bischoff comments and where you're at? We're going to see them live. We're spending our money. We're spending our time checking out this product. We still believe.
Totally. I mean, he's not wrong with if he means where careers go to die in the sense that there are a lot of older wrestlers on the roster. I get it, but like, stop. People don't invest their time and money into it, into going like, we're going to produce this product, we're going to put it on our streaming platforms, on our television platforms. And it's not exactly WB has a great track record the last few years. They have tabled and shelved some pretty significant projects. So I don't know if you know anything about the Coyote versus Acme project, but it was a Wile E. Coyote courtroom drama where he's suing the Acme Corporation. And it was like one of those hybrid kind of like Space Jam animation things. And everybody was talking about how amazing it is. The script is incredible, hilarious. Tyler, they shelved at the same time and they shelved Batgirl so they could put The Flash out, which was not only a bomb, but a terrible movie. And what like kind of a laughing stock and a ridicule. And they shelved Batgirl, which was supposed to have an aging, an older Michael Keaton playing Batman from that Batman universe as sort of the father figure to this Batgirl coming up. And they just kind of like took that and plopped it into The Flash and shelved those other two movies. When you shelve it like that and do it as a loss, you get a tax write-off and you basically get all your money back and more. But once you do that, you're not allowed to release that movie ever. There's no way out of doing that. So it's just in the vault, totally finished and produced for all time. And apparently it's awesome. They don't have a great track record of making investments in places that people want them. I don't feel like this is one of them. I think AEW is a good long-term investment. Ultimately, wrestling products aren't that expensive to create and produce. You get content forever on your platforms. It's an alternative to something else. I think they just have to figure out their groove again and go like, well, where are we different? And right now, leaning into the grittier side of things is good. I think that's what set them apart in the first place and going like, oh yeah, they're finally acknowledging these great talents. Ricochet being a heel, being able to talk, giving, second life to certain people and different careers. Buddy Matthews is going to be wrestling Kazuchika Okada in Australia. I think that's awesome. Claudio has been a world champion since joining. There's just a lot of people on this roster. I'm scrolling through it right now that have been either injured or have not benefited from any kind of good booking at all. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen the Righteous in a minute, although they did a vignette with Elias or whatever he's going by now. That was cool. So I wonder if that's a preview of things to come. Yeah. I have no idea what's going on with Jack Perry. I don't know if he's hurt or what. John Silver's still on the roster, I think, doing ROH things. Josh Woods is still there. Keith Lee's still there.
Keith Lee.
Most of Bullet Club Gold is injured right now. One of the guns healthy, I think. The other one's injured. And then poor Juice Robinson just keeps getting hurt. Kota Ibushi's still on the roster, and I guess he wrestled in Japan recently. Who knows what's going on with that? I don't know where Wardlow is. Ricky Starks is still on the roster.
I think Wardlow's injured. Yeah.
Miro is on the roster still.
Right. And then that goes to what you and I talk about is, okay, well, we've heard the reports that maybe Miro just doesn't want to lose. and low key is maybe difficult to work with.
Yeah.
We don't know. We just love his work and want to see him back because he's been great when he's been on TV. But yeah, Ricky Stark, like I want to see Ricky Starks in the main event of a pay-per-view. Like that's someone, Danhausen, like that's, I think what you said, Brad, made me think of this, and this would have been a more concise answer for you earlier. I think like any field, like any teacher, like any name the profession, any company even really, you have to, and sports team certainly, you have to identify, wait, that's redundant. You have to know what your identity is, and it has to reflect what you do. And if I ask you what AEW's identity is, I would imagine you would say, "Where the best wrestle." Ostensibly, that is the tagline.
Yeah.
So your product week in and week out, every Wednesday, every Saturday should reflect that. And if it doesn't, we need to update what our identity is. I think that still continues to be a work in progress for AEW. What is our identity?
Yeah. And I don't know. When are the Young Bucks coming back? Where's Jack Perry? Brandon Cutler's still there. I don't know. Haven't seen him filming anything because I don't know. And these Hurt Syndicate renders on the roster page are just terrible. It's just them not wearing shirts. Oh my God.
I was going to say something I love right now. Hurt Syndicate as tag champs.
If I described them to you and said shirtless guys wearing black ball caps with the Hurt Syndicate written on it, is that the vibe you think they're going for? Because it looks like they're there to tow your car. And I feel like that's not the Hurt Syndicate vibe.
That's not. No,
it's a bad render. I feel like they should be wearing suits with the belts.
Absolutely.
Not what I'm getting there. It's either Colonel Lashley and Private Benjamin, or it's like we're here to get your car towed over to the auto mall. Like I don't know.
That's right.
I don't know what's going on there. Those are some rough renders. Woof. All right, Tyler. We got one more thing to get into, and that's State of 19. So let's play the music.
Late breaking news from the world of 19 media.
I can't wait to find out what is on this list, Tyler. I did not look into it, so I'm sure the mispronunciations are about to happen. Robin Nathaniel and his show, Land the Talk. Join 19 every week. Robin delves into the journeys of TED speakers and provides business tips. Check out his most recent episode, Social Media Marketing Trends for Nonprofits in 2025. Follow Robin at Believe in Fantasy.
Are you an NFL fan? If so, Mo and Mike have you covered with Hidden Gems Football. Hopefully you checked out their Super Bowl special. Congrats to the guys on another season of content. Also, be sure to check out Mike's solo show, The Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph, for truly unforgettable commentary on the latest headlines from entertainment, politics, sports, and more. Follow them at Mike Steffens _ and at A Power Mojo.
Speaking of passionate teammates, Desmond Powell released a brand new episode of Hip to the Games. He catches you up on WNBA offseason headlines and which NBA rookies are showing out. I have a feeling he'll also may talk about Asia's shoes. You can follow Desmond's show at Hip to the Games.
Big shout out to Des. Big shout out to Asia Wilson. I meant to put that on my What Did We Miss, Brad? The Asia ones dropping in May. I need to save up some cash for that because
I might be doing that too. Those are real nice.
I'm very excited. Okay. Big shout out to Des, as we know, and super producer Jabari, as you can watch their newest We Love Music conversation on 19's YouTube page. They welcome guests to discuss the latest releases across the industry. Word on the street is that there will be a new drop discussing the aforementioned Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance, which Brad and I spoke about earlier. Follow Jabari at Jabari A. Davis.
Cal and Warren of the Baseline NBA podcast released their highly anticipated trade deadline special. Man, it must have been 6 hours. I'll have to check that out. They discussed the biggest moves, winners, and more. Follow them at NBA Baseline.
Speaking of Warren, he welcomed Alive Podcast Network's Angel Livis on the latest episode of Dope Interviews. They discuss how she became an award-winning producer, building a podcast network, and more. Tune in and follow the show at Dope _ interviews.
Finally, the guys over at Late Night Lake Show had to discuss the Luka Doncic trade and its fallout. Check out their latest conversation to hear their reactions and where each franchise goes from here. Follow them at Late Night Lakers. I still can't believe that trade happened. What an absolute theft. A crime was committed there, Tyler, and I'm still surprised that it was even allowed to happen. Oh, what did we miss?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy if I'm a Lakers fan, I guess.
And as a Suns fan, like, Luka has tortured us in the past to the point where it's been performance art when he plays us. Not a game. Not talking about practice. Not talking about a good game. Performance art.
Full circle.
Yeah, I haven't really processed my own feelings about this, but maybe I will at some point. Okay, what did we miss? 2 points for me. First, wrestling, and then non-wrestling. Josh Alexander is officially a free agent after a memorable run with TNA. He is now on the open market. And speaking of TNA, on Impact this past week, Mustafa Ali and Tasha Steelz seem to form a partnership of some sort. I'm very excited to see what is on the horizon for that storyline. Non-wrestling note, but definitely in sports. Arizona sports, specifically the University of Arizona and Arizona State, basketball-wise, the men's and women's Wildcats were victorious over ASU, and there is a larger looming question of, is this a wrap for ASU men's basketball head coach, the infamous Bob Hurley?
After the
Brad,
game.
I don't know if you caught this. Yeah. They were in headlines for not ideal reasons.
Oof.
Bobby Hurley not shaking hands, telling his players to get into the locker room. It's very much giving. This is a wrap. It's been a decade and maybe some change for Hurley as ASU head coach. I think his winning percentage is about .561, so it's been about 500, give or take, which is not new for ASU basketball. But there's some talks and some feelings and a vibe around the city that this could be a wrap. Meanwhile, Tommy Lloyd and the Wildcats are crushing it in the Big 12, really turn their season around, and should be a force come March Madness. Brad, what did we miss?
Well, we talked about the WWE releases a little bit. Asia Wilson won. We already brought it up. Elektra is now on the alumni page. And Aaron Rodgers is not going to be a Jet next year. This morning, Adam Schefter broke the news. I wonder where he lands. I don't know where he lands. Maybe there's a backup role available somewhere in Wisconsin. Well, Tyler, I don't really have anything else to add. We got a Super Bowl Sunday to go enjoy after this. I'm excited to probably watch the game. Certainly the halftime show. Maybe I just go take a nap and then wake up for Kendrick. We'll see.
Either way, I love it. You can follow us at GIPod19 for exclusive show updates and more. We thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.